Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the webinar, Microsoft Office 365 for Not-for-Profits. My name is Sakina Vora, and I'm the Events Officer here at Connecting Up. Unfortunately, Ryan is unwell today, so we'll have Mathan Allington, our Marketing and Communications Team Leader, presenting this session today. Some of you might have interacted with him as he's previously presented webinars on LinkedIn and WordPress. So before I hand over to Mathan, just wanted to go through some housekeeping notes. To those who are new, please feel free to type in your questions in the question box and we'll be happy to address them as we go through the presentation. Also, this presentation is being recorded, so everybody present will receive a copy of the recording and slides by end of day today. And finally, if you're facing any technical issues, like if you're unable to see the slides, please type in those issues and we'll try our best to get it sorted out for you. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to Mathan.
Thank you, Sakina. It's great to be with you this morning in Australia, this afternoon in New Zealand. So welcome to Microsoft Office 365 for non-profits. As Sakina said, Ryan's unwell. We had our Australian conference last week and he's been working very hard, so he's come down with a post-conference bug. He's been off for a couple of days, so it's good to be with you. Ryan is our sort of in-house expert. I've been using Office 365 for a while now, so when we get to the questions, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to answer all, if not at least most of your questions. Anything that might be a little bit extra, we'll note those and send those out with the slides in the next day or two, so you have all the information you need around Office 365. This morning we just have a few slides and then it's fairly interactive. I'll run you through some of how Office 365 works in a real-time environment. So yeah, hopefully you'll find that informative, and feel free to post those questions, and we might have some questions after the slides and then at the end as well, and might even send out a survey link and a real-time survey as we go using Office 365. Cool. So what is Office 365? It's Microsoft Office in the cloud for you. So if you're not sure about the cloud, basically it's run, Microsoft have a number of data centers. They now have one in Melbourne, and it's everything run in the cloud as far as it's run from all these different computers. There's multiple backups made multiple times a day, and so all your data is stored and accessed anywhere that you need from all your devices, and so you get a full suite of Office tools that you might be familiar with that come with Office 365. So the benefits of cloud software, just as a bit of background, it gives you flexibility. So you can add users and scale without hardware investment. So if your team's expanding, you don't need to install extra servers or hardware into your office, or if you're in multiple locations, you just need the internet connection and you can access a lot of these tools, which makes it fantastic for working from anywhere. Maybe you've got a work from home policy as well. So as you scale up and down, have people working in multiple locations. Reliability, so mentioned about the data centers, but it's hosted with guaranteed service, and Microsoft have a service level agreement in regards to that with some guarantees. Yeah, multiple data centers and automated backups, which are in multiple locations happening multiple times a day. So all your information is very safe in that regard. And as far as being up to date, you always get the same version, the latest version of the software. So you may have worked in environments where you've had different versions of Office and compatibility issues. If you're using the full Office 365, you're using the latest versions. So what that all equates to is a bit of peace of mind in your organization. So what is Office 365? Well, it's everything, all your favorite Office tools. So what you get are web-based versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. You can work collaboratively on these documents, and we'll show you some examples later. And you can pick up where you left off in different devices. So if you've got a desktop computer, a tablet, you can be editing one. You don't have to save and email it to yourself. You can just pick up another device that you've got and keep working on it. And there's mobile apps to edit those documents wherever you are. across all the different operating systems. So as an example, just to give you a bit of application, so with, let's say you're writing a grant application, so using the Office web apps, you can access and edit Microsoft Office documents on the cloud collaboratively, so you can have multiple people working on a proposal at once, and you can be editing different sections and see the updates and not have to be sending versions and wait for somebody else to edit and send it around. Previously with Microsoft Lync and coming out with Skype for Business, voice and high definition video calls with colleagues, so there's integration there with Skype for Business, which is coming, previously known as Microsoft Lync. And with OneDrive for Business, you can also have cloud storage where you can share, so you can have personal files, but you can also and then share those with anybody in the organization. And there's also SharePoint, which can create a public-facing website for you, but you can also have a private, or what might be the equivalent of a network drive, where you've got all the organization's shared files that everybody can access as deemed by the permissions and what department they're a part of. So you can have everything in that location. And then your Microsoft Exchange email, so you've got the hosted email in the cloud accessible from any device. So you can see on the left-hand side, that's your Office suite, Excel, PowerPoint, Word. You've got your business class email, file sharing, video conferencing. There's technical support and that service level agreement I mentioned, and anywhere access. So that's just a very simplistic view. But in that grant writing example, you can share across a team, everyone can contribute, you can always see the latest version, and there's even tools like version and controls. So when you get to draft number 1, you can have different levels of sub-edits or sub-versions, and then master versions, level version 1, version 2.0, 3.0, etc., until you get to your final document. So, and you can always access the previous versions. So why Office in the cloud? So you can access your data wherever you want it. You get that centralized document storage for your organization, those automated backups we've mentioned, and no need to run your own servers. So from a hardware point of view, you might be able to save some costs on your hardware, and especially on the maintenance and the upgrading of that hardware. So there's some of the key benefits. As far as the plans, we'll send the slides out to you, and you can see the link at the bottom. So you won't spend a huge amount of time on this slide, but what you can get, there's a couple of different, a few different variations you can get on Office 365 for non-profits. So the small business for non-profits, it's complete donations. So you can see the first column and the third column are both complete donations. There's no cost at all. The second and the fourth columns have a small monthly cost, which is much reduced from what the corporates would be paying. And some of the examples and some of the key differences would be, say, between the small business for non-profit, so if you're looking at less than 25 organisations, the $2.20 per month versus the $0 per month, what you're getting for that is the Office desktop applications. So that's the access to the latest version of the software all the time. So you're running Office 2013. So you can get the offline access with the latest version, but maybe you've already got that software, or maybe you're thinking of getting that donation through Connecting Up or TechSoup New Zealand. Then a lot of organisations, rather than pay that $2.20 per month, might consider going for the full donation and just getting the Office 2013 as a package separately via the donation through Connecting Up and TechSoup. So that's an option, and why people might go for one over the other. If you don't have the Office suite already, then $2.20 a month can work out well, and you've always got the newest versions. And then stepping up to the enterprise for the larger organisations, so you can see at the bottom we've got unlimited seats. So the E1 and E3 plans. Again, at the top, a key differentiator is getting the Office desktop apps, so Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook 2013 or equivalent, and But then at the difference, why the extra cost is there's some advanced services such as Discovery Center, extra forms on-premise server integration. So some high-level enterprise type things, and which not necessarily every organization is going to need. So you just need to go through and have a look and see if that's for you. But you might be able to use the E1 with the donated version of the software, your desktop apps, and that might work out more cost effective over the long run, so you can access both. So if you've got any questions about that, yeah, please put those in the chat, and hopefully I can answer those for you, or we'll get those sent out in the next couple of days as well. So how do you get Office 365? So it's available for eligible not-for-profit organisations, and you can access it through. You can access the E1 donations direct from this website. So you'll get this link, or you could, if you're keen to look it up after the webinar before you get the notes, search Office 365 nonprofits. What you need to do is go to that page, the Microsoft page, register for the free trial and start through the trial, and then in that process, when you enter your organisation's details, Microsoft will contact us to validate your organisation in Australia or New Zealand, and then that'll complete the process. So you just go to the Microsoft site and enter your organisation's details to start the free trial, and then everything will kick in from there. Cool, so that's just the slides. It's pretty simple as far as those slides, and that's only taken us a few minutes. So now I'm just going to step through a few examples and some interactions, but I might just have a quick check in and see what questions you may have about the plans and see if we can answer those before we go on to the interactive section.
Thanks, Nathan. We do have a couple of questions here. Are the Microsoft servers large enough to ensure good access speeds?
Great question. Yes, they are very high level. I don't know the exact figures, but they're certainly enterprise level, very high capacity. And the amount, I was in a training event recently where they're talking about the servers that are hosted in Melbourne, and they create multiple backups, not just per day, but it's per hour, and the data's moved around very quickly. So even changes within an hour, you'll have multiple backups of those, and it's moved in multiple locations. So for all of your data that's there, I think there's at least 3 copies in the one data center of that data, and it's always backing itself up in multiple locations. So to handle that, it's got high speed, high bandwidth, and can certainly handle what you can throw at it. Probably it may be questions related to internet connection. That's a question we often get around Office 365, and maybe that's tied into the question you're asking. A question that comes up is, what bandwidth do I need for it? If you're running email at the moment, say Outlook or Exchange email, the internet connection is fine for running your email in much the same way, doing your documents. Where you may want increased bandwidth is if you're trying to do video conferencing. So in that case, you'll probably be needing the multiple megabits, kind of rough numbers maybe. So if you're on an ADSL2 connection, that should be sufficient for you for Office 365, particularly the email, the documents. If you're video conferencing, you might be wanting to look at cable or fiber type connections to handle that across multiple users.
Great. Another question, what is Active Directory integration in cloud?
Cool, that's a good question. I have limited knowledge around that. The Active Directory is to do with, don't quote me exactly on the multiple users, and usually that's on your server in your, if you've got the hardwired server in your location. We'll probably note that question and just get you a more sufficient explanation from Ryan when he's back. So we'll send that out with the notes. So yeah, we'll take note of that and send you the link to that resource for you.
Can you have mixed of free and paid access? Like some people might need desktop, some users don't need it.
Great question again, and yes, you can. So we know a number of users, yeah, we might have, say, just trying to get back to those plans for you, the E1 and E3 plans as an example. Yes, you can have a split between the plans. So those that don't have the Office Suite already can run on that, and those that have the Office Suite can run on the E1 plan and get the donation. So yes, you can split. You don't have to have everyone on the same package.
Can you move all data onto the servers?
So all data onto the servers, was it? Um, I'm assuming, I'll just make some assumptions that you're talking about all documents, everything. So if you've got a network drive, everything you run on there. Yes, you can. So we're in the process of migrating some of our data. So and connecting up, we've done the migration to Office 365 as well when that became available for not-for-profits. We started off, and this might be going into other webinars in the future, like considerations. But we started off just doing the email, and then the next step for us is doing the SharePoint and moving from a network drive to everything being cloud-based. So we've sort of got a mixture, and we're about to phase over completely to all cloud-based. So yes, one thing you may want to consider is if you have applications that have to run off desktop or a server. It might be accounting packages or particular custom builds. That's something you want to consider, and probably the next webinar might help answer as far as the considerations, because people from Info Exchange might be able to help in that regard. So there would be in those considerations, if you've got custom packages or server-based packages, there are solutions like cloud-based versions and virtual environments where you can run those, but that would be one area just to make sure you checking all the detail and you're doing a proper plan for any such migration.
How do you link Office 365 with Dynamics CRM Online? Which plans link together best with CRM Online?
I will have to, for the risk of saying the wrong thing, I'll defer that one to Ryan. We'll get that answer for you. I would be saying the enterprise level plans, so that the E1 and E3 for Dynamics CRM, but we'll get that explanation properly for you and send that out as well. So apologise, I can't answer that straight away for you.
ADSL connection for email. How many users can we have?
Yeah, good question. You would consider, I mean, if you're running multiple users at the moment for email, it would run in the same way. So, because it'd be your server or multiple requests and sending and receiving all the time. So if you're running the desktop apps, it's going to operate in pretty much the same way. It's running sort of offline or installed on your computer. When you send, receive, it's performing the same amount of data. If you're doing all the web-based version, so the web apps, then it's just as if you're all on web pages all the time. So typically, if you've got the ADSL connection and you're all connected to the internet, you should be able to handle those basic requirements that might not be the HD video.
Those are the questions that we have for now, Nathan.
Very good, cool. So what I'm going to do is just walk through some of features and some things that might be useful. So what I am doing here is just showing, so this is Office 365 Online, and I just press the apps button in the corner. So you can see there's access to the mail, calendar, so things across the top line that you might normally access through Outlook in the first few. Then there's Newsfeed, or you can have Yammer integrated, and so you can have an internal network for your organization, OneDrive and Site. So I'll just kind of walk through some of the different sections and what's available. So just a quick snapshot. So the mail just goes straight to my inbox, and I'll just jump away from that. So I can have yeah, this web-based version. So any computer in the world, I can log in and see my Exchange email in a format that's very familiar. And all the folders, shared inboxes that I might have access to, I can see there as well. The calendar, you can see I've got, so this is the calendar that I see on my computer, and you can see there's other people's calendars. So I can share calendars, got access, and depending on how it's set up, you can also have the calendars for meeting rooms, staff rooms, shared resources like booking for vehicles or equipment. So you can see there's a couple of different variations set up there, but you can have shared resources and those calendars are all accessible. You can see the multiple colors are coming there, and even external web calendars you can integrate as well. So you can create a new appointment, it's a web-based version of what you would see in Outlook. Event, location, attendees, all standard. I could add a room to that booking, scheduling assistant to check my colleagues' calendars, private content, all the things that you might be used to. So this is all purely through the browser without the desktop app. Now just going across, so there's people and contacts. The OneDrive section so there's OneDrive and SharePoint. So this is OneDrive for Business, and how that works is for anybody that's used Dropbox or OneDrive Personal or Google Drive, any of those other, or Box kind of cloud services, this will synchronize online and offline. So the folders you see here, if I just open up and go in my File Explorer, you can see it's the same folders. I've got the synchronization, got the tick saying everything's synchronized. So I can work on any of these documents offline. If I'm traveling on a plane or without internet connection, I can access all of those files very easily. And you can see at the top here, I've got a folder, Connecting Up Info for Germany. We had a visitor from our German partner at the conference, so I'm just collecting some information just to share back and forth. So I'm creating a folder that I will share to Germany, and they're going to put in some content, and that's going to come back to me as well. So what I typically use the OneDrive for Business are my personal files. So you can see I've just got some expense files. There might be some projects or some writing or things that I'm working on. And see, most of it's just for me at the high level, and then might be some shared content in different areas. So if I go into training as an example, and then I've got webinars, so Intro to Office 365, you can see I've shared this folder with Emma, our events coordinator, and Sakina, who's running the webinar. So there's content in here that we can all access. So you can see there's the PowerPoint that I'm running at the moment, which is actually running from the desktop app. So it's the same PowerPoint. So if I go in and see this is just a PowerPoint online web preview of the same document. So I could actually just run this from any computer just by logging in and click Start Slideshow. So this is just a web preview. So you can see all the same slides, all in my browser. Or I could edit the presentation as well. I could edit in PowerPoint, and that will use the desktop version or PowerPoint Online. And what you'll see in the options that appear here, where it says PowerPoint, it says full functionality of Microsoft PowerPoint, or PowerPoint Online is quick changes. So the web apps give you all the basic functionality of Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, Word, but not the full functionality. So if you're running advanced things in a spreadsheet like pivot tables and things I don't know how to do, then you'd be wanting the desktop version of the app. If you're just doing straightforward budgeting or documents in Word, then the web version, or if you're just editing and collaborating, the web app version is very good because it gives you live updates of what the other person's doing, and I'll walk you through that in a moment. So you have the option, if you've got the desktop version, to edit in the full version or just do the PowerPoint Online. But I'm just going to jump back. So in the documents, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open this hipster lorem ipsum document. So for those who don't know, lorem ipsum is just that sort of Latin placeholder text you see in documents. So I've just created a document here just to have a bit of a play and a demonstration with. So it's Word Online. I'm going to edit in Word Online, and Sakina, I've lined this up, so I've shared the file with her, and she is going to edit as well. So you can see up in the right-hand corner here, I'm editing the document, and Sakina is editing the document. So editing online, and you can see her updates coming through live. So you can have multiple people making changes, and they'll be coming through live. So you can be on different sections and know exactly where the other person is. So when you're using the web app version, it all comes through live straight away. If I use the desktop version, and just wait for this to load up. What it will do in a moment, you can see it's saying 3 others are editing this document. So this is a full desktop version, all features I need, and I could go through and make changes, and I would see it would come up. So it's saying down here who the people. So I've got it open in a couple of different browsers and things. So it says I'm there 3 times. I could see any changes that come through. What will happen is you will get a mark saying somebody is editing a particular section, and you can't edit that one. So you can see now it's highlighted, so it's saying updates are available. So it won't happen instantly live, but it'll block off that paragraph or that sentence while someone else is editing. And then all I need to do is hit that refresh button or the save button, or in the bottom, updates available, and it'll just refresh, and you'll see Sakina's changes coming through straight away. So that's the full functionality of the desktop app, and you get notifications that there are updates ready for you. So I'm just going to close the desktop one, go back to the browser, and yeah, you can see Sakina's changes as we go through. So that's an example of that collaboration in real time or across multiple locations, and how the web apps version work for Word and Excel as well. Now I'm just going to go back to the OneDrive. Cool. So one of the features mentioned earlier was version control. So you can go to version history, and you can see the multiple versions. So the way the document's set up at the moment, just by default in my OneDrive, is every save is a major version. So it's 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. But you can set, particularly in SharePoint, you can set minor saves or updates to go 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And then you can prompt to do major updates once you've got a significant change to the document. So I could always just go back to a previous version if I didn't like Sakina's changes in that shared document. But her changes are great, so I'm going to leave them as they are. Just another example. So I was with InfoExchange, our partner, who will present other webinars in the coming weeks. We were at an event in Singapore. InfoExchange are based in Melbourne. We're in Adelaide, our office. So we had a PowerPoint created with Matt from InfoExchange. We created just the basic template, sent it over. We collaborated, and we did probably half the slides each. So this was to our TechSoup Asia partners, and we created this document in multiple locations. So we started in Adelaide. He was working in Melbourne, and then we met up in Singapore, and we were working on it there. So that's just an example in a presentation environment of how that collaboration worked for us. Cool. So one other thing, so that's a bit of Word, a bit of PowerPoint. What I'm going to show is a feature in Office 365, which is the Excel survey. where this is just a nifty feature where you can create simple surveys. So I'm going to go, I'll just call it simple survey fun, just make it up as we go along. So what I can do, and I'm going to do this in real time, is create just a basic survey, and then all going well, I'm going to send you the link and you can interact with it on your end, and we will see the results come through live. So first question, I'm going to go chocolate or vanilla. Going into the deep issues, text required, done, and we could go coffee drinker, and go yes, no, make that required, and one other question, how did you get to work today? Cool, and simple fun survey, fun description. Cool. So I've created a simple survey. You could make this a lot longer. I've done some longer ones. I'm going to click on share survey. It'll create a link that I can share with anybody, and then I can choose to stop sharing at any point. You can see it's automatically created this Excel sheet with filters, so I can filter those answers. So all going well, I'm going to go to chat, send to entire audience. Hopefully this link works. Yep. Cool. So if you're happy to click on the link, just check it's working. Yep. So there should hopefully just be it'll pop up with a form. If I open a new tab, for those that aren't able to click along, it'll create a simple survey that looks like this. So I'm going to be difficult and say depends on the day. No, chocolate. I'm a fan of both. I'm just going to say chocolate. I'm not a coffee drinker, and I caught the bus today. Cool. And then so I go back to the results, and here you can see while I was typing my results, 7, 8, 9 of you have written your surveys and come through. So you could get numerical data. Somebody likes pineapple. I like that one. Stayed in bed. So I like a good sense of humour. So thank you for your contribution. So you can see from a quick survey, we've had 2 people caught the bus. We've got 3 people, and there's public transport, so it could be bus or train. So simple survey, and the non-coffee drinkers match the coffee drinkers. There we go. And chocolate looks like the favourite with the lead. So just a little bit of fun, but you can see by using Excel Online and the survey option, particularly if you just need a simple survey or to send to team, or I know that there's lots of survey tools online, and we use some of them when we're surveying hundreds of people or thousands of people. But you can use this in different capacities as well, and it might be, and then all those results, if I just go back to my OneDrive online, you can see I've now got this Excel document which is there. I can click on it again, and oops, so the results are still coming through. There we go. There's those results, and I can again share out the survey with that link. So someone flew to work and likes caramel. Thank you. I like these contributions. If we were face to face, I think we'd be having a lot of fun right now. Cool. So that's an example of. So we've had a little bit of a look at Word, Excel. You can see I can if I go, well, I can still, W is not going to count in a formula, but I can still do standard uh, formatting. So you can tell my sum, the amount. I can do formulas and totals and budgets and things there. So a lot of your Excel features are still in the Excel Online. So that's online surveys. Cool. I think we'll open up for some questions. Yeah.
Wonderful. A question here from Nitesh. I assume Active Directory integration in Plan E3 is using Azure, if I'm spelling that correctly, AZURE service, but will they stay in Sydney and Melbourne data centers, or will they get replaced outside Australia?
Cool. I can't necessarily. I've heard Azure being used, but I'm not an expert in that area, so we'll note that question, get that answer sent to you tomorrow. But as far as the data centers, they're not going anywhere. Originally, the closest data center until earlier this year was Singapore. So the Melbourne data center is actually a new significant investment. So that's the first Australian data center for Office 365 Microsoft. So that is I would very confidently say that's around for a long time because it's new and it's quite a significant investment, this setup. So it shouldn't be going anywhere anytime soon. And so that's a key thing to consider if you're considering Office 365 versus other options. Is I know there's a number of organisations that require their data to be stored within Australia. So you can be rest assured for all of the new plans and new people. Your data will be stored in Australia. As far as I know, in New Zealand there isn't a data centre there at the moment, so Singapore or Australia be the choices in that regard.
Can you save other types of files onto your own Office apps? For example, can you save PDFs files to it?
Yeah, so in regards to OneDrive, yes, you can. So I've got some. I'm hoping I'll be able to pull them up. You definitely, as far as the OneDrive in general, yeah, I can see here's a PDF here. This is a JPEG. This one is a web link. This is a notebook file. So I'm just trying to remember what the document is. But yeah, it'll operate. Yeah, so this is a document from an organisation talked to a while ago. So this is a PDF I can browse online. So certainly you can, as far as your OneDrive, you can use it as a storage system for all file types. And most of the standard file types like pictures and documents will open within the browser. Just when it comes to the editing side of things, you're just limited to direct compatibility with the web apps, such as Word documents. But certainly you can use OneDrive for storage of media. You can see I've got a video folder, some video from our conference and other things. So yes, you certainly can have different file types in your OneDrive.
This last question for now goes back to when we were formatting the Word Online and then going back to the desktop. So we've had some formatting display issue with Word collaboration due to Word Online not displaying all contents of the documents created in Word Desktop. Any hints around it?
Yeah, it's what you'll get through Word is online. There might be limitations in some of the features. So and that's where you'll notice if you've got advanced features in your offline apps, then yes, sometimes in fonts or some tables or spacing, that's where you might encounter some limitations. If you want to go for complete collaboration across a project and you want the consistency, a recommendation would be for everyone to use the web app, and then you won't have those changes. And if you're using the web app for that collaboration, then you probably won't be using those extra advanced features. Or if you absolutely need those advanced features, if everyone has access to and could use the desktop app, then you'll keep that consistency. So that'd be the recommendation if you can, or either if they do get those minor formatting issues, have everyone use the web app or everyone use the desktop app, and it'd be similar like if you're using Office 2013 or 2010 or going back to previous versions. Yeah, be similar to that sort of situation. So, yeah, recommendation: try and get everybody to use web or desktop app, and that should hopefully alleviate some of that for you.
Um, we have a question here from Nicole. Can anyone use OneDrive even if they are not a Word customer?
Yeah, so you can share content. So I could share an image, just like I did with that Excel survey. I can share a link externally, um, and when I share content, I can share it so you either uh, can just view the content or if editing. So if you're just viewing it, say I sent you a picture, then you could view that picture or that document. You could probably download it, but if you wanted to edit it in an online version, then you'd need to sign into an Office account. But it works similar to other cloud storage solutions where you can share the URL, people can see the file, but they don't necessarily have to sign in unless you require that. There can be options where you can require that people have to have a valid Microsoft account for some documents.
Those are the questions that we have at the moment.
Cool. So what I'd suggest, if you do have questions, I'll just bring up the last slide. Any additional questions? Thank you for your time so far. It's a relatively simple introductory webinar. We do have 2 other webinars in the series. There's a considerations for Office 365, which goes through more of the technical things, and that's presented by Info Exchange. And I think SharePoint is the 3rd one, which goes more into using. So it's a bit of the OneDrive, but then using SharePoint as an intranet, as a document storage system, and considerations for that. So they're both presented by our partners at Info Exchange. So that be a little bit more technical. This designed this as an introductory just to start off. But if you do have questions, my email address is on screen. That's my Twitter handle, or you can message our Facebook page, Connecting Up, or TechSoup New Zealand, or our Twitter accounts in the same names. We'll be happy to answer those questions, and if you send them through today, we'll collate any additional questions and answers and send them out with the notes, and we'll get those answers, particularly around Active Directory and Azure. I think were the 2 main areas, and a couple of extra technical things. So we'll send out a recording of the webinar and those notes in the next couple of days. But thank you for your time so far. One more question has come through.
Is Office 365 integrated with Google?
So there, not really is the answer. What you can do in some ways is the Outlook Online calendars. If you've got calendars in Google, you can share those with your Office account, and you can see them in each other's panels. So that's probably one of the integrations. But as far as Drive and other areas, no, there's no direct integrations because essentially they're competitors in the same space. So yeah, you can view each other's calendars. That's probably the main thing. You can run. I've got a bit of both running on my computer as far as a personal Google Drive and then OneDrive, but no direct connections as far as for the average or normal typical user.
Wonderful, Nathan. That was our last question. And so do you have any final few words?
Again, just thank you for your time. Feel free to send through those questions. Apologise if I wasn't able to answer a couple of the additional ones, but we just wanted to make sure we could run the webinar for you, respect your time and not delay with Ryan unable to make it. So please send through those extra questions and we will endeavour to have those answered and sent out with the notes in the next day or two for you. So thank you again.
Great. So as Nathan mentioned, you will receive a copy of the recording and slides by end of day today. What I'll also do is I'll include a link to register for the two webinars Nathan mentioned, the Office 365 and SharePoint. So please send in your questions that you may have on this webinar, and we'll try our best to answer them. So until next time, thank you everybody, and bye-bye.